it is the last episode of the new year, and with an absolute clean sweep for me, I am so excited to announce that we're finally talking about Batman 1966, Batman the movie. Ones? So the percentage breakdown was That Thing You Do walked away with 21% of the vote.
You guys,
your pick of Crossroads,
Crossroads,
24% of the vote, and Batman the movie with 55% of the vote.
Wow,
man.
Okay.
Big wins for me. I mean, what is there to say about the 1966 Batman? I think that this was a film that I watched repeatedly as a kid into like high school and college, because I think when I watched it as a kid,
I thought
a lot.
I
know. But when I was a kid, I just thought, God, this is a really bad movie. Mm-hmm. And that's all I thought about it. And then like in high school and college, and the more you learn about like Adam West and Burt Ward and everything, you're like, oh, this is like camp before camp in a weird way. Like they really fucking knew what they were doing. And like and I think that there's even today watching it, there was like a scene where he calls somebody and there's just a briefcase in the background that says classified waste. Like there's just like this absurdism to everything. And like early on in this episode, there's a line from Burt Ward that feels so at home in like a John Waters movie where he just points at the camera and he says like, support your local police. That's our message.
Like, and I was like, I wrote that down and I was like, you fucking bootlicker.
No, I wrote
fuck Batman.
I yelled at the TV.
But like, I'm watching it now and I'm like, I think that it's supposed to be over the top in that sense. Like, it's just like, this is so absurd.
Which like, I can appreciate. I can. But I was like, this is so much.
I can understand the point, but it doesn't mean that I have to enjoy it.
Right. See, and this might be still my favorite Batman movie. Above Tim Burton, above the Matt Reeves, above the Dark Knight. No, Matt Reeves, who did the 2022 The Batman.
Oh, sorry, because
Christopher Reeves was Superman. Slightly different.
I the words formed in my brain, and then I was so embarrassed that I couldn't speak.
And I'll tell you this, credit where credit's due. This is the most that you see Batman do detective work. He is truly...
But I would not call him the world's fucking greatest detective. Okay? Let's get one thing straight here.
It's a lot of luck.
Batman. It's a lot of luck and a lot of Robin being quick on the buzzer to answer all the riddles. Like, yeah, sure, Batman puts everything together, but Robin's like, yeah, I know the answers to everything. And then, like, Batman's just like, oh, you're right. X, Y, Z. And fucking, it's just
I always jokingly say that the detective work on them concluding that it's all four of these villains is some of the most insane, absurdist writing of all time, where they're just like, that shark certainly was pulling your leg, Batman. Yes. Like a joke. Joker. It's like, it truly was fishy what was happening there. Fish like a penguin. And my favorite is the chief of police going, it all adds up to one diabolical riddle. The
Riddler one got me.
And I think that the biggest FU that this movie tries to pull on us is to make us believe that Batman and Robin are not lovers, but rather that he is truly heartbroken that Selena Kyle was faking it with her shitty Russian accent. Also, the first thing you see her do is in this thick accent, she goes, "Take off your mask, Batman," and he's like, everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "I can't." And he's like, "You don't understand our customs." I'm like, Selena Kyle wears the tiniest little bullshit over her eyes, and you've basically seen her wearing underwear. Yeah. How do you not know that that Selena Kyle, that Catwoman, and the Russian lady are the same? That's some bad detective work. You know,
he's bad detective work. This is what I'm saying.
Thinking. He's like, this is what I found my saying. Beard is what he's saying.
Dude.
I love it all. I love it all so much. I love the fake ass shark that he has to fight.
With the repellent.
Yeah, one of the notes that I read when I was looking up the trivia, he said that while they were shooting that scene, one of the producers showed up and was like, "Oh man, it sounds awful when he punches that shark." And he looked at them and was like, "Yes, that's the problem with this scene."
I will commend them on basically saying yes to everything, right? So it's like if they're working on the script and they're getting to a problem, they're like, well, how is Batman going to get out of this? And they're like, well, the easiest thing to do is shark repellent. And they're like, okay, then yes. Then that's what we do.
My favorite way that Batman gets out of any situation in this entire movie is when him and Robin are magnetized to a buoy and they're shooting torpedoes at him, and then the last torpedo happens and they're not there anymore. Jump cut to them in the bat boat and Robin just saying, "The nobility of the almost human porpoise, Batman." And he goes, "Yes, it was quite noble for him to throw himself in front of the last torpedo. He gave his life to save ours."
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. They are just like, whatever.
Yeah, and the cadence of the lines is really what makes this feel like a cocaine haze. Like,
1,000%.
everything is...
But this was like kind of detrimental to Adam West's career in a sense, because he was very in on the joke and played it up, and because I think audiences didn't get the joke at the time, he was just looked at as a truly bad actor, when it's like, no, he probably understands more of what's happening and the importance of the bad acting in that role more than anybody, actually. Also, can we just talk about the answer to one of the riddles is Robin yells, "Someone Russian is going to slip on a banana peel and break their neck." And that's...
I've never thought Robin gets a lot right. But.
Yeah, I've never really considered the Riddler to be a good Batman villain. One of the stupider concepts created for the that era of Batman. Matt, you're right though that the Batman was pretty great because a truly psychopathic Riddler was a pretty solid presentation. I can't accept all gritty reboot versions of silly characters, but that Riddler was pretty sick.
I think that that Riddler is kind of the equivalency of what I always talk about, of like, stop remaking good horror movies and find the good concepts that were done poorly and fix them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it really took like the Riddler is, people know the Riddler because there was enough movie versions of the Riddler, but like, he's always been a dumb character.
Yeah.
So to take him and be like, all right, but like, what's the most psychotic way that someone could be the Riddler?
The Riddler's always living in the shadow of the Joker, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This movie / the Batman show, the Riddler is way more like how the modern Joker is than the Joker is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, the Joker's just got a couple bad jokes and then goes along with his life.
Yeah. That was really the problem for me watching this, because I did not enjoy this watch, and I will not be watching again. Sure that no one is surprised by this. And I'm not mad about the watch. I'm just disappointed. I really am the dad of the podcast. Holy shit. But the part that I found so difficult in the watch for me was the fact that I could handle 20 minutes of this. I cannot handle an hour and 20 minutes of this.
Right.
And this is an hour and 45 minutes. Like, it is a long... I thought that it was under 92 until I put it on this morning.
Mm-hmm. What did this do to the TV show? Did this do...
It helped.
So this was...
kill it?
Yeah, this was supposed to be... So here's the thing. It was supposed to be the pilot.
Yeah.
This was supposed to kick off the show.
Oh.
But then they actually made it the, like, after season 1, before season 2. And season 1 in this movie were so successful, they were planning a second movie. And, like, the second season of the Batman 60 series is fucking long. Like, when they released it on DVD, they actually released it in 2 separate parts because it's like 53 episodes or something.
Wow.
Like, it's really long. But I think that they bit off more than they could chew at that point. And, like, the numbers of audience watching dipped so bad halfway through the second season that they scrapped the movie and did a very short third season and then called it. Like
That's crazy. It's a crazy amount of episodes, but the
That's what I
60s,
mean.
60s TV just did that shit. There's
60s
there's
TV's
no
They were
rules.
aiming. They were aiming so hard at syndication that they did
Yes.
not care how they got to it.
They didn't care.
100%. But there's a thing that I like. Oh, what's that sound?
What is that?
Oh! So, in honor of Robin's fucking simp-ass, bootlicking piece of shit, there's this moment where they're climbing up the wall, and they're questioning if people are going to think of them weirdly because they're climbing up this wall in this neighborhood, and Batman says something along the lines of, no, they're a bunch of rum pots, that they'll think this is an alcoholic hallucination.
Rum goes, I'd
And-
rather be dead than not trust my own eyes.
And that's what that motherfucker says. He says, I'd rather be dead than not trust my own eyes. And I go, Robin, get the stick out of your ass, okay, buddy?
He's
I'm
a
gonna.
square, man.
He's a square. So I'm drinking a rum and coke in his honor.
And I have. I was originally gonna go with chocolate cherry bomb because the only thing I knew before watching this was Batman. I mean, I knew about the shark repellent, and I knew about Batman running around with the massive, bomb above his head. Which,
Yeah.
side note, best part of the movie watch for me. That the viewing
It's
experience.
so ridiculous. It keeps
some
going
days
and
you
going.
just can't dispose of a bomb or something like that.
Which hold on a second, back to Robin being awful, is after Robin finds Batman and he explains how hard it was to get rid of the bomb, Robin was like, why don't you just let it blow up all the drunks? And like Batman's like, they're human beings, Robin.
Yeah, Robin kind of is cold-blooded.
Dude, Robin don't care. He just wants to go do his puzzles.
Anyway, so I have our friend Chris's brewery here in Akron called 83 Brewery. They're fantastic. This is Hold Music Limbo. That's what I went with because I really feel like the Batman music is like hold music.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So,
Very
Yes.
much
so this is a very good
I
IPA.
love that.
If you're in Northeastern Ohio, you should check out 83 Brewery because they make very good drinky poos.
All right, so we're almost at the end of where I tried to take some decent notes here. So we get to the point where the Penguin shows up in disguise. Batman and
how could you
Robin.
tell?
Batman and Robin immediately see through it. They're just like, all right, well that's clearly the Penguin. So let's like figure out what he's up to. And they take him back to the Batcave. And he's like, can I get some water? I'm quite parched. And probably my new favorite Batman line, the drinking water dispenser is clearly marked as he points to the sign that just says drinking water dispenser.
Do you think the
and then
Batman is
again-
autistic? Like
maybe. So then he rehydrates the pirates. And
which is
Batman,
a wild plot device. Actually
Crazy.
found that quite interesting.
so
I don't
weird.
know. I don't know how that came up. Like whose idea that was.
But I love that Batman immediately is like, oh, he must have rehydrated some dehydrated pirates using our water system.
He's seen
Like-
this before.
Like
Yeah.
the jump from there. So he allows Penguin to steal the Batmobile because his plan is we'll just follow him and then we'll find out where all the villains are. Not a bad plan. The Riddler shoots a missile at him, and this was another one of those delightful moments of fate that their helicopter's about to crash, except that they land at the Phone Rubber Wholesales convention that protects their land.
Thank God.
I mean, I appreciate the cheese. I really
Yeah.
do. It's just too.
It's a lot of
much.
cheese. It's
It's
a
an
lot.
Hour
You
and
get blocked
45
up
minutes
if you
of this
have
is
too much of
just
that
too
cheese.
much, man. I was
somehow,
gassy for days.
Somehow they connect the hints from the riddles of egg and applesauce to immediately know that they must be talking about the UN.
Yeah.
Like,
Clear as day.
yeah, clear as day. And then I do love the line of Robin says like, okay, we'll have to call a cab. And Batman says, at this hour, luckily our bodies are in tip-top shape. It'll be faster if we run. Like, it's-
I don't like how he talks about Robin's body to him. I don't.
Are you
I don't
surprised
think
though?
that's not safe words for a boss to speak to their.
That's very fair. I think one of the better fun dumb jokes in this is when they do get to this like United Nations type building and he goes to use the elevator, but he has to scan past all the other languages that say up until he finds the English version for up, as if like it's a
There's-
fucking elevator.
Yeah,
Like,
the one on top, the top one, the top button.
I
And
guess we
then,
found out who the top is.
but and then the other, I'm going to jump all the way to the end because not much else happens. All of the villains dehydrate the world leaders. They're holding them hostage.
So weird.
Batman and Robin show up, and everything is safe. But I love the absurd escalation of the day is saved. In walks the first person they kidnapped, and not only does he fall down and knock over and smash all of the dust vials, but then he also dramatically sneezes on them to like blow them away more.
Well, dude, do you know what dehydrated humans will do to your allergies? Horrible.
Oh my God, awful.
Yeah.
But I'm glad. Look, this was a fun way to wrap up 2023, a year that was all over the goddamn map. So why not wrap it up with a movie that is equally all over the goddamn map? So I thank you, all of the loyal listeners who put in the votes to make this childhood dream come true for your boy MK.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come baby come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
So, since you are the lucky winner, Matt, what would you double feature this with?
Probably, I think I said that this is my favorite Batman movie, and I don't think that that's actually true. I'm going to actually double feature it with what I think is the best Batman movie, and probably the only other Batman movie that gets that right level of corniness, the Lego Batman movie.
Wow, nice.
That'd be pretty
Nice.
good. What about you, Kyle?
So also because we've just lost Marty Croft, I'm gonna do the Puff and Stuff movie.
Okay.
I think that like we're just doing crazy psychotic dreams of 60s and 70s television. We'll do the Puff and Stuff movie.
Fair. I'm going to go with the complete inverse of the Batman movie and do Kick-Ass.
Oh, nice.
Because, I mean, I actually really like the first Kick-Ass movie.
Yeah, it's the
one's a
second one
little
where the
much.
problems come in.
Yeah. I've watched them within the last 2 years, I'd say. Kick-Ass holds up. Kick-Ass 2 is very edgelordy. So I think that we've actually talked about that on the show, haven't we? Not the movies,
Yeah.
but that Kick-Ass 2 is pretty edgelordy. But I would like to cleanse the palate with of a super cheese-tastic, completely unrealistic caped or costumed hero with another completely unrealistic but super violent costumed hero, because they both seem to be very over the top in their own sort of ways.
Fair.
I have a question for you.
What?
What's going on?
Oh, how dare you! How dare you take my bit? So again, there's not a ton. I mean, I think it's around this time that we should at least say, hey, I'm pretty sure tickets are available for Creature Feature Weekend in April. We're almost definitely going to be there. I just have to book a room for us, but we'll be there. We should be having a good time, and you should come too if you live anywhere near the Gettysburg area. And obviously, hit us up on all the different socials. For sure, hit up our Patreon, patreon.com/HMN podcast, and also visit hmnpodcast.com, where we have a merch store filled with lots of great shirts and other goodies. But finally, we must discuss what we are watching, what we've been watching in the last week, or reading, or whatever else.
Oh, Matt, again, this is your pick. Why don't you give us a little squeeze of the juice?
Oh, I love a Matt juice.
I actually watched something that I was surprised how much I liked. I didn't know what it was going to be, which was the 8-episode series on Netflix, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
Oh, yeah.
Did either of you watch it?
No, but I've heard very polarizing things about it.
Okay. So the first episode is really interesting because the first episode is almost a full remake of the movie, except when the first fight happens, Scott loses and is killed.
Oh.
And then the rest of the show is Ramona and his band trying to figure out where he went when he was turned into coins. And like it kind of just goes into this entire alternate universe, and it does a really good job of, in my opinion anyway, of addressing the fact that Scott's kind of the douche. And like I think that's a thing that gets lost in that movie. It's way more clear in the books, than it is in the movie. So like being able to like spread this out over 8 episodes and really like let it show like, hey, this is a dude who like is 23 dating a 17-year-old girl, and like this is a guy who's dating 2 girls at once, and like this is like, and you get into all these different elements of like who's the villain, who's truly the villain, and like you get into like how fucked up the existence of the evil exes even is. But like it also does a really great job of like giving all of the villains redemption arcs, and they're all like quick 22-minute episodes and just full of great little like, there's like stupid little jokes like they're making a movie based on because of Scott's death. It gets so much publicity that someone makes a movie based on if Scott didn't die and did fight all of the evil exes, and the name of the director is Edgar Wrong. Like it's just like
nice.
It's just like it's so ridiculous and fun. Like I could see someone not liking it, but I can't see anyone straight up hating it because it's such like just harmless fun. And the only other thing I'd say is,
the internet will find somebody who hates something.
Yes,
hate
that
harmless
is true. The only other thing I'll say is that every time that I watched Scott Pilgrim or read Scott Pilgrim, in my mind it was a book and story that was very pulled from like video games and pop culture, and this actually really does a good job of highlighting like, no, this is more than anything, this was inspired by manga and anime with all of that other pop culture kind of diced in. So like seeing it presented in a traditional like anime style is interesting. And it moves a lot smoother and it's a lot funnier than any anime I've watched because I'm not an anime guy at my core, but I enjoy
Anime has ruined entire generations of American culture.
It truly has. But that's my quick pitch. So either one of you.
Kyle, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I haven't been back to watching anything, but Carly's going away this weekend, and I don't have my toddler, so there's a chance that I'll maybe watch at least one movie this weekend, which is crazy.
No, you gotta finish House of Usher.
No. If I finish that without Carly, she would have a conniption parent, which is fine. But I started playing The Quarry. So I don't know if anybody's played this or has heard about this.
Video game? What is it?
Video game called The Quarry. It's from the makers of Until Dawn, which was a huge horror game. Well, I don't know how big it is. I'm not a huge gamer, but I love these games.
What platform is this?
So I'm playing it on PS4. It's on PS5. I don't know if it's on Xbox, but it's The Quarry, and it is a sort of exploratory, twist the plot, like pick your own path slasher game, at least so it seems. Like I'm in the first 2 chapters. It has Ted Raimi, Lance Henriksen, and Lynn Shay. It also has Ariel Winter. It has a few like up and coming / like relatively young good named actors, plus some like horror icons. And right now, I mean, I'm only in and David Arquette. David Arquette's in it. And basically it starts out with these camp counselors have just finished their summer at camp, and they're getting ready to leave, but one of them wants to stay because he wants to like maybe try to hit things off with this girl, so he sabotages their escape plan. But the big head camp counselor is like, you are supposed to leave today, like you need to leave now, and if you don't, like, he gets a little anxious about them not leaving, but they can't go anywhere, so he's trying to figure things out. They're staying there, and there might be like a wolf in the woods, there might be a slasher, and there's also, but the thing is like you don't know, and you actually might be telling that story with the options that you choose, if that makes sense. Like and you play character to character. You make choices. Those choices change the path of the game. It's very fun. Like, if you are kind of into these, and so that means like every time you play it, you can play your character different. You get a different ending to each person's narrative. They're very fun. Until Dawn, Carly and I have played it over and over again. We really love the game. And the quarry is shaping up to be very fun as well. And it's like they did little other Easter eggs. Like, if you can change the film grain of the so you can do a VHS style, you can do an indie horror, which is like a little more warm and like, glare-y. You can do black and white. Like, you can change all these sort of like styles of how you're playing. It's really fun, and there's some good jump scares. There's some good acting too. It's all mocap. It's all great. It's fun. It's fun.
Nice.
So
I'm gonna
highly
have to check
recommend
that out. I wonder if it's available on Switch.
Right now it's on Switch. It might be. I'm not sure.
Probably not. I mean, it's PS4 and 5 very seldom is on Switch.
But try that, and then Until Dawn, if you even go back
I
further.
can
Until
find it,
Dawn's very fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I mean, I was going to talk about something else, but I will do two things real quick. One, on a whim, I snagged this roguelite game for just a couple bucks. It was on sale in the Nintendo eShop. It's called Curse of the Dead Gods, and it is very much it is the okayest roguelite I have played. It's not nearly as great as Hades, but it's not terrible. And it's the great thing about it is that I can play it for 20 minutes and then not play it for 3 days. Because I'm not the storyline isn't as engrossing as Hades, and there's no music, which is very strange, so I just play without any sound, which is fine.
What is roguelite? What does that mean?
A roguelite is a type of game where you basically go on runs. So you start with a certain few attributes for your character, and then you fight your way through X amount of rooms to get to a boss, and if you die, you go back to the kind of like the spawn room, and you try again. And usually you are able to keep like money or like gold. It's usually coins or something like that, and some other items, as well as attributes that you gain throughout your runs. It's fun because a run can take 15 minutes, and then I can put it down and not think about it for a couple days. But it's a whole style of game that is very fun, and I think that it might be a better game style for me now than Metroidvanias, because Metroidvanias are very story-driven, and I get consumed like literally any Metroid game, any Castlevania game. I've talked about both of the Blasphemous games as being my favorite Switch games. Those are all Metroidvanias. So there's side-scrollers, they're very story-driven, there's puzzles, there's, you have to unlock different rooms, and it's very engrossing. I think that roguelites might be more my style because they don't take as much of my brain, and I can just kind of play them for 15 minutes and then forget about them. But what I was going to talk about was a horror movie I watched, because this is horror movie night and we haven't talked about horror all day. So I watched The Carrier, 1988. It came up. I don't even remember how it came up. Was it a TikTok or something like that? But
I think you just sent the trailer. You sent us the trailer.
Or maybe it was mentioned, or Tubi suggested it. I don't remember exactly how it came into my. I remember. It was somebody, Matt, I want to say, messaged us on Instagram saying, these are these VHS tapes that are for sale. Do you want any of them? Somebody was selling them, and I went through. And, or was that you, Kyle? Doesn't matter. One of the two of you bastards. Yeah. Trying to get me to spend my money on stuff that I don't need. And instead of buying any of them, I just made a list of stuff that I'd never heard of, and Carrier was on it. And I watched the trailer, and it's about this guy who basically has like this withering touch in this small religious town, and they believe that they don't know where this destroying touch is coming from, because he'll touch an object, and then the next living creature that touches it basically melts into it.
Whoa.
It's such a cool concept because he actually gets slashed by like a werewolf, and it's kind of like a werewolf's curse. But he does not shapeshift at all. It's just that when he touches something, and so it's got this contagion aspect to it. Everybody's wearing plastic. It feels so COVID to me because we didn't know what was going on in February, March of 2020. And so it's got like that contagion aspect to it, but it also is kind of religious, religious infighting, but also supernatural. And there's some really fun body horror kills in it. But it's not a good movie. It is not, I don't think that there's enough in it that we could do as a show as a full show episode. So that's why I'm talking about it now, because I really watched the whole thing. It's almost 2 hours long. It's crazy long, and the pacing sucks ass. So I really did not enjoy my watch, but I thought that there were so many cool concepts that were wasted in it. I still have the copy that I found of it. If you guys want me to send it to you via WeTransfer, and you can make your decision. Matt is not interested.
Is it a VHS rip?
Yeah, it's a VHS rip.
Okay, I have the VHS PS
then
of it already, so
I'm not. You don't. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
My computer does not need to hold on to this.
Get rid of it.
Yeah,
You don't need to carry that weight.
Yeah. It's a cooler movie when you talk about the ideas that they ruined by making the movie.
But that doesn't take 2 hours. That just takes 3-4 minutes.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Much better as a campfire story.
Speaking of things that would have been better shorter, Batman the movie from 1966. We will be back next week in the new year with a film even older than Batman 66.
That you also picked,
Kyle.
you son of... It's Kyle that picked that?
Picked by Kyle.
I don't
So
appreciate the fact that I can't tell anymore. I only can trust my own picks.
I'm trying to mix things up. I think
yeah.
I
you
may
think he's
have made
gonna
a few
zig,
wrong
he's
turns.
gonna zag. Yeah.
It's electrifying.
But we'll be back next week with more horror movie night goodness.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.